I felt like I was pushing. I just felt like I was pushing. I had this intense pressure and urge to like kind of like squat and force that pressure out. Yeah, just an instinct. And again, I'm thinking like, okay, I've only been in labor for 4 hours and my water's broken and I'm pushing and things are crazy. I called Joe back and I'm like, I'm pushing, like I feel like I'm pushing. And again, Joe had to call the those back and be like, okay, Angela's pushing, so we're gonna go to the hospital. So next thing I know, Joe's mom is downstairs and she's knocking on the door and she's like, hey sweetie, okay, do you have like a bathrobe or something you can put on? I mean, to get you out here and get you dressed so we can go to the hospital. And I insisted that I was just gonna go naked. I was like, no, I'll just go like this. And she's like, no, sweetie, like you really can't go to the hospital naked. So we gotta get you dressed here. And she came back with a pair of Joe's sweatpants and kind of like passed it through the door to me. So I put like an underwear with a pad on and Joe's sweatpants. They somehow got me in, Joe's mom somehow got me into a t-shirt. And modesty was out the window at this point. I did not care about being like half naked. And I don't know why, but it was really important to me that I brushed my teeth. So even in light of these like crazy contractions I was having, I still brushed my teeth. And then we started trying to get me up the stairs. And I'm having contractions really close together. It took like a good like 5 minutes to get me upstairs because I had a couple contractions on the way up the stairs and I had to stop and manage those. And I felt kind of bad at the time because Joe and Joe's mom were like, okay, sweetie, like we really have to get you upstairs now, like we have to get in the car. And I was like almost crying because I was like, I can't, like I'm trying, but I can't move. And I couldn't talk through the contractions, so I would just stay still and I couldn't interact. And Joe's mom's like, okay, like, we don't want you to have this baby at home, sweetie. Like, we want you to have the baby at the hospital. So I got upstairs, and on the way to the door, my phone rang, and Joe's mom looked at the phone, and it said the name of my airline. It was my booking office, and I've been off work for like months, and they were calling to talk about work stuff. And so Joe and his mom look at the phone like, what? Booking office? No, hang up. But that was good they called because then I knew it was 10:15 when we left the house to go to the hospital precisely. So we get in the car, and if you've had a baby before, you know that you want to move through your contractions, and sitting in the car is like not the way to do things. In fact, once I started pushing, I started at home, I started to draw a bath again because I was like, I didn't know if I would be able to get to the hospital because I did not want to go through the car ride and sit upright. And I was thinking like, okay, I think that we're having the baby at home because I'm pushing and stuff's progressing. So yeah. So begrudgingly, I'm in the car. And we start driving, and basically I just like leaned over and was kind of like leaning onto Sam's car seat. I was strapped in, but I was pushing the whole way to the hospital. It took like 15 minutes to get to the hospital, and I was like pushing the whole time and trying to hold back from pushing, but I was pushing. And I distinctly remember two big things happening along the car ride. Firstly, there was an elderly woman trying to cross the street, but she was crossing like super slowly. I remember yelling like, "Move it, old lady!" And then the whole ride, I just had my eyes closed, towel on my face, and I was just like making lots of noise and getting through the contractions. So later on, we get towards the hospital, and there's construction, and Joe and his mom were trying to figure out like how we're gonna park the car. We eventually park, and Joe's mom she's gonna take the car, and Joe takes the labor kit, and I start walking towards the elevator, and Joe's paying for parking. So I'm standing outside this elevator at the hospital, wearing a bathrobe, looking like crap, in sweatpants. I'm somehow wearing shoes, and there's this woman standing beside me, and we're both waiting for the elevator, and I'm trying to think of like a not crazy way to tell her that things are gonna get crazy when a contraction hits. So I look at the woman and say, things are about to get really interesting.